Hey, I'm Son Little. Welcome to the Blues Kitchen. There's a big brass band in the park today.
Son Little is an American blues and soul musician from Pennsylvania. Since 2004, he has worked with The Roots, RJD2 and Mavis Staples. His new LP, titled Aloha, is slated for release in January of 2020. We discuss the making of the new album, handing over the reins as producer, and he performs a version of Skid by Love and Arthur Lee. And while you're watching, like this video and subscribe to the channel for regular episodes of The Blues Kitchen Presents. Son Little, welcome to The Blues Kitchen.
Thank you.
How are you, sir?
I'm great.
Yeah?
Yeah.
So, we've been listening to your EP, Invisible, and from what I gather, it's almost like a little teaser of what is to come with your album.
You could say that, yeah.
I'm quite intrigued to know why you felt like putting out an EP with a remix on it before your album even dropped, because there's the Quantic remix on there as well.
Right, which is super cool.
So maybe you can tell us a little bit about the record.
It's been about 2 years since New Magic, and I, you know, any excuse to show people what I've been doing, I'll take it usually.
Right. Okay.
You know, you put an EP out, you can, you know, you can get a little teaser for something to come. You can squeeze on some stuff that you might not get a chance to release otherwise, and
sure.
You get a Quantic remix. I mean,
so how did that come about, the Quantic remix?
You know, well, we kind of like filed through some names and tried to see like what we could do with Hey Rose that might be different. I just like the style, so we reached out and it worked out. Very cool.
I mean, it's certainly very cool.
Yeah,
like you'd be very proud of that one.
Yeah, I like it.
There's a bit of a theme here, actually, kind of accidentally, but when you obviously do a remix, you hand over a piece of your artwork, if you like, and then it comes back different. And this is the first album you've done where you've actually handed over the reins to another producer.
Yeah.
As well, and you went over to Paris. Did it very quickly, right? This album in about a week or so?
You know, that was not the plan, but
okay.
So the bulk of it was written, in about a week, mainly because I
written in a week.
Yeah.
Not just recorded, but written in a week.
So that's really due to my own negligence, in which I crashed a hard drive without a backup, which is of course a cardinal sin. You know that. Everybody knows that. And that's the first time that's happened.
Are you going to tell me it had your whole record on it?
Yeah, so, I mean, it seems hard to believe, but, and it took me about 3 weeks to accept that this is actually what happened. Yeah, I lost these demos that were supposed to sort of be the backbone for what we were going to record. And
that must have hurt.
yeah, it did. For whatever reason, my feeling when something like that happens is that rather than try to retread and reclaim what you had, it's probably better to just start from scratch.
So, can I ask the killer question here? Was it actually a positive thing in the long run? You went through these few weeks of pain, kind of struggling to accept you'd lost all these demos, but do you think that the end result has ended up being better because of that?
I think what we ended up with is what was right. What felt right and was required at that time, I think, is what we ended up with. So yeah, if I hadn't lost those, then we would have made a very different record, which, who knows, that might have been great as well. But I'm really happy and comfortable with what we ended up with, for sure.
Great, man. So let's talk about this producer situation where you're handing the reins over to someone else.
Right.
How was that for you? Because you've traditionally been behind the controls, right?
Yeah, it's different. I learned a lot through the process of making my last 2 records, and you progress to a point, you hit a plateau. I felt like I learned as much as I could at that time from self-production. I thought it would help me to have another set of ears guide me as I, do the performance part. I think that's the sticky part of producing yourself as a player and a singer is you really can't be objective at all. You can't evaluate your performance and perform at the same time. So this gave me an opportunity to actually focus on the performances and not worry about the other stuff as much.
And did you place kind of 100% trust into the producer? So, or did you lock horns and argue about bits and pieces?
We argued. We argued, in a healthy way. you know, I trusted him going in, but I think part of the reason I did that was just to test myself about the inner dialogue that's going on and see how accurate I've been. You know, we would argue and over, say, you know, Renault thought it was take 1, I thought it was take 6.
I see.
Okay, well, let's listen to it. Okay, yeah, let's listen to it.
Let's get into this.
You know, and after about the 14th time that I was wrong in a row, you know, I realized, okay, you know, I chose the right person for this job. I can kind of let go and let him, let him actually fulfill this function, and I'm just going to go in there and, you know, tinker with things.
I'd really like to kind of chat to you about the sound as a whole, because you've done a lot of work with people like RJD2, and you're obviously hugely influenced by soul music, but it's not retrospective in any way. You can tell, you know, and I did read a quote a couple of days ago that what Sharon Jones did to soul, you've done to blues. And I see the sentiment in that, but I think actually you've taken it a step further. You know, she brought soul kicking and screaming into the 21st century and did a very good job of it.
Right.
But yours sounds like the future as well.
Right.
Is that the influence of people like RJD2, or is that very much part of you anyway?
Well, RJ definitely has had a huge impact on me as an artist. You know, he's kind of like almost like an engineer in the classic sense, where he really studies the systems of everything, and that stuff has rubbed off on me as far as kind of igniting my interest in the technical side of things.
Right. Okay.
That really I always hid from in the past. For me, what boils down to is just really studying the music of the past to a point that, and without discrimination in terms of genre, that you know, I allow those things to kind of mingle together and then let it express itself as its own thing, rather than regurgitating or rehashing something. You know, it's inevitably something new because it's a unique blend of influences, you know.
Sure.
Yeah.
May we ask about working with Mavis Staples as well?
You may.
being in the blues kitchen.
Yeah.
I mean, you did See That My Grave Is Kept Clean, which is a Blind Lemon Jefferson tune, right? Got to tell us about that experience and how you guys kind of met and ended up working together. And that won some pretty big awards. Yeah. That record. It was a Grammy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, what an achievement. So congratulations first up on that.
We have a very tall friend in common, literally. Andy Calkin, who works at Anti with us, and he's a big brainstorm guy. And at some point in a stream of consciousness rant, it occurred to him that Mavis and I shared some similar aesthetics, and suggested, you know, asked would I mind if he played some of my music for Mavis Staples, which is
what do we think about that? Yeah, I'm sure you didn't have to think very long to answer.
Ridiculous question. You know, so I was kind of blown away. I guess you know, something like that, you sort of think, I didn't really have a great expectation that this would amount to anything, but just that was such an honor that you know, of course, I guess, please go on, go do it. So he did, and she liked it. I mean, and felt like there wasn't a lot that I had to adjust to fit her voice, really, that I could more or less just make some beats and let her sing.
Away you go.
And that's more or less what we did, you know.
One of the things I really love about Mavis is that it's not necessarily the vocal line she's singing, it's the little utterances and the grunts and those kind of bits in between.
Yeah.
You know, they're the real kind of magic moments.
Right. Well, you know, it's interesting because those things are, someone that's an icon like that, it's like, you know, you're creating like cliches almost. So, you know, it wasn't a cliche, but, you know, here you are doing these things, and then people imitate it and probably think, you know, people are thinking about like, what can I add to this? You know, add a little flair. Yeah, but those things are just pouring out of her. So I think, you know, aside from just musically, like watching her record her vocals to these songs is like a highlight of my life, really, because, you know, in the 2 or 3 takes, she would just, and every take there's, you know, there's 5 moments that make your, you know, the hair on your back of your neck stand up, you know, and there were moments of, I stood in the booth with her while she was recording, which she loves to do. Someone that grew up singing.
Is that so she can get a reaction straight from you?
I think that she grew up singing with her family, with her father and her sister and brother. I think that's just, you know, that's what she knows. It's kind of hardwired in. You sing in a group. I think when she's alone, it feels wrong to her.
Yeah.
So I'm standing in the booth, and the moment I think I remember the best is that there were 3 or 4 people in the control room, and Mavis was singing, and there was something that she did. If I listened to the record, I could find the spot, but there was something that she did that I saw everyone, I had a direct line of sight to the people in the control room, and we all at the same time, everyone jumped at the same time it was just the way that she hit this note. Everyone reacted in the exact same way at the exact same time.
And you've struck gold.
It's just such a powerful thing, you know, so I'm be forever grateful for having that experience.
That's beautiful. Yeah. That's fantastic. You very kindly came in and did a cover for us today as well. Mm-hmm. And you're the first person to ever come in and do something by Love. Mm-hmm. Or we should probably say Arthur Lee yeah. In this case. It's from the Black Beauty album, which mm-hmm. is not necessarily kind of one of the big ones. Right. You've got the first self-titled one, Da Capo and Forever Changes, mm-hmm. which are the ones that people go to. Mm-hmm. But even so, we're talking about Mavis as an icon. Arthur Lee, I kind of feel, is still this kind of unrecognized icon. So I'm kind of curious to know your way in to Arthur Lee's catalogue.
My good friend, Charlie Rabbito in Philly, I don't know if I guess he must have gotten turned onto it from his older brother when we were, you know, high school, college age. And so we used to roll around jamming to Love in general, but that song in particular for some reason. And I guess it never occurred to me to actually play it until, you know, a couple of months ago for whatever reason. And a strange thing about it, I mean, definitely underrated and really under the radar for the most part, to the point that, you know, I said, I'm gonna make a cover of this song. And I started working on it. I had the chord structure going. I knew the melody, so I was already singing along. And I started out just singing what I thought was being said.
Okay. Yeah.
And so I said, well, let me get the actual lyrics here, just in case, you know, because some of the words are hard to make out. Yeah. So, you know, naturally I Googled it, and when I Googled it, Skid Row came up. And I said, oh, that's funny. It's,
okay, yeah.
You know, because Skid, Love. Skid Row comes up, you know, a song by Skid Row with Love in the title. I'm like, ha, that's funny. Scroll, Skid Row. It was all Skid Row. And I went through pages and I never found them.
Oh, really?
And maybe I wasn't thorough enough, but I never found them. So, I mean, it was actually kind of fun exercise to go back to, I actually have to listen to the song and write down what I think he's saying.
And hitting pause.
Yeah. So my friend and I were like on the phone going back and forth. Like, what do you think? Oh, I see. So I think we got it. Maybe I probably need to put the lyrics. I'm gonna post them up there. Somebody's gonna post them up there because they're fantastic lyrics. And after listening to it so often, I think I had the sense, okay, this song is about, you know, a friend that has kind of fallen off the map a little bit. That's kind of, you know, is having a hard time, and, you know, nobody talks about Skid anymore, you know, but he's still there. I mean,
still there.
Like, you can find him, he's right there, and that's, you know, I think this really brilliant way of discussing something that, you know, a lot of people, most of us, everybody kind of has a friend that you know, maybe falls by the wayside here and there, and you know, you don't want to forget about Skid, you know.
Well, on that note, I think it's probably time to introduce your performance, if that's all right.
I'm Son Little, and this is my version of Skid by Arthur Lee and the band Love. When it's cold out, they don't feel a thing. It's snowing heavily, but you say it's nothing. If the eye were to flicker, it would all go away. But could you remember a better day? Oh, Skid, not really a friend. Oh, Skid, not really a friend. It's the harsh blue lights of the early morning dim. Struggle up now, the gutters are emptying. Nobody talks about Skid anymore. Nobody talks about Skid anymore. He's still there though. Oh Lord, he's still there though. Hooray, it's got no familiar ring. It takes a while to remember things. The same old sounds and the same old sights. If you breathe a little deeper, would it be alright? Oh, it's Skid, not really a friend. Oh, Skid, not really a friend. Don't face the day, no need to even try. Better to pretend, don't find out why. If it's on your mind, it'll soon disappear. But could it get any harder, year after year? Oh, Skid, not really a friend. 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 It's the harsh blue lights of the early morning dim. Struggle up now, the gutters are emptying.
Subscribe to The Blues Kitchen for live performances and interviews with the hottest blues, soul, country and roots musicians in the world today.
Brass band in the park today. Those alone no speak what my mouth can't say. Can I read you every letter, turn you every page? Can I hold